Hi guys, I want to say thanks for having us. And today we will be talking about four specific topics that we chose to really highlight what we learned this semester in BPC. And today for the first topic, we'll be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Many of y'all know him as, we would say, he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time to ever touch the ball as a soccer player. And we want to talk about his effects on his recent club, Manchester United. Many of us know him as playing for Juventus, Real Madrid. Those clubs are one are from Spain, one is from Italy, and he's moving to England. And because of the great influence that he has on the sport, we would like to talk about the effects economically that happened, the change to Manchester United. Because of this great influence that he has on the game of soccer, we just want to go onto the board and let's talk a little more about it. Yes, guys, so let us go a little more in depth into it. This is the supply and demand curve of Manchester United, the club that Cristiano Ronaldo will be signing to. This is the supply and demand line graph that shows it before his signing. But because of his influence on the game, when he signed to the club, a lot of customers demanded, they wanted his t-shirt, they wanted to buy his t-shirt instantly. So this increased the demand, sales, increased the quantity, increased the price, everything was just higher. And this would automatically affect the equilibrium to change. Okay, and now this is here as an example of what happened when his jersey was demanded more. It hit the market and it went up. This concept that we would like to point out when it comes to the economic side, we are talking about, if you look right here, we are talking about the equilibrium. And in the beginning, the equilibrium was here, and then it moved because the demand for the product went up. And this is where we are showing that the influence and how it changed the economic side of Manchester United. Prices went up because they realized that his jersey was demanded more. And obviously, if you look at the bottom, the quantity had to go up because they had to produce more to meet the needs of the demand. And we are watching in this aspect here, we are looking at the equilibrium side of it. It shifts the equilibrium side and also the demand curve. Okay, guys, that was our first story. And we would like to go into our other headline. It was about the recent passing of Virgil Abloh. He is the head of the artistic department to Louis Vuitton. And with this now, Louis Vuitton, that has a great influence on the fashion world. A lot of us know the brand, and it has always been known as a very high standard designer brand that influenced a lot at this field and this industry. And he was, you could see, the creation of many different styles that today we know it as what is fashion. And when he passed, it basically gave the same effect. It was a negative effect because he died, but it gave the same effect of the Cristiano Ronaldo story prior. It raised up sales. Sales went up, demand went up, quantity had to go up, everything went up. And we just want to look at a different aspect of the economic side of it. Prior for the Cristiano Ronaldo story, we talked about the equilibrium line moving. The equilibrium point moving. So now we're looking at the demand. We would go back to another in depth so you could see it visually. So let's go to that. Okay, guys, we are back at it again with our visual of it. And as we know before, with the equilibrium line will move once it causes a shift. And this effect, as I said, it has a very similar scenario of the Cristiano Ronaldo effect. What happened? But instead of talking at the equilibrium, we are speaking about the demand. If you look at the demand curve, it shifts right. This is because the demand for his products went up. Also, you could see that how the price went up also. This is because at the recent passing of him, his prices are usually expensive, but it doubled. It doubled as soon as the bad news went out. It doubled. Everybody demanded his product more. His product went up. And this aspect, as I said, we are looking at the shift. We talked about the equilibrium last time. Now we're talking about the shift. From the demand here, shift all the way to the right. Once it goes down, it shifts to the left. Once it goes up, it shifts to the right. So this is the other aspect that we looked at. All right, guys, I just want to say thanks for listening. That was our second story on Virgil Abloh. Our third story will be on the recent legalization of marijuana in New York City. And we have one of our co-workers, Elijah Trulio, in New York City at the moment. Let's have a word from him.
Hey, Jordan, joining you live from this cold, breezy day in New York. I want to talk about another topic of legalizing marijuana in New York. And I think it'll be best I touch on this idea since I'm able to see things and changes happening firsthand on this topic. So, the legalization of marijuana started last year, 2021. And obviously, we're starting to see a lot of stores and vendors beginning to sell marijuana locally in our neighborhoods, and with that coming across, that also reduces crime, raises tax revenue, improves our public health, and stimulates our economy. Now, the impact of this legalization, long-term production of costs, market prices, and the use drives down the long-run production of costs and marijuana prices. So now with taxes on sales that are being low, that increases the long-term marijuana use in New York. Now, the tax on goods, as we say, places a wedge between the price of that buyers pay for marijuana and the prices received, which decreases the equilibrium. So we have here tax regulations in New York and the local cannabis industry, and there's a 9% excise tax on marijuana and a 4% tax for local governments. Now, we see here that with that amount of excise tax, NYC would generate amount of $336 million in city excise. And with the 4% tax on local governments, for the local governments, state sales and tax will increase as much as 570 million in other New York localities. And all in all, through the legalization of marijuana now, New York State could collect about $1.25 billion in tax revenue from legal cannabis over the next 6 years. Now, moving on to Kanye West. Just recently hearing this information that Adidas has cut ties with Kanye West simply because of his series of anti-Semitic remarks on social media and embracing a slogan associated with white supremacists. Now, Adidas has set this quote that they do not oblige or accept the hate speech on any ethnic or minority groups, and that is because Adidas do not stand up for any kind of dehumanization of any group, and obviously that resulted in Kanye being cut. Now, with that happening, that decision costed the company $250 million lost of a net income, and that really did become a big issue with the company because it showed people their right from wrong ethical decisions on what they support. The consultants of Adidas said that it is more important for the business leaders to listen to the voices of the community rather than looking for the growth and impact of Yeezy being partnered with Adidas. Obviously, Yeezy has been out for some years now, and the the overall net income of Kanye being with Adidas has resulted in a $1.3 billion net income increase, and obviously cutting that seriously depletes the company into bottom ground. Now, with the clothing no longer being used to sell by Adidas, this reduces the elasticity of Yeezy and increases the price of any remaining products being sold on the market. So this reduces elasticity because of Yeezy being a luxury clothing line. It is not something essential for people to have, yet it is a fashion design people are well aware of and well into, and people do heavily like the popularity of Yeezy. So now now that it won't be easy for people to buy these clothings from Adidas, that becomes much more harder for people to obtain these products. And now, with the rarity of these products, that comes with price increasing on these products and making it hard for a lot of people around the world to get these items. And now that sets a huge bottom rock plan for Adidas.